How do you make time for photography when you're working a full-time job? In this video, I'll share with you a few ways I keep photography alive in my routine while working a 9 to 5. Planning isn't just about scheduling time, it's about discipline. And that discipline doesn't come from forcing yourself. It comes from remembering how photography makes you feel while you're out shooting and how you feel afterwards. That feeling is the motivation. When you hold onto that, it becomes much easier to show up consistently. Set a date with photography once a week, even if it's just 30 minutes, even if it's only around your house or your neighborhood. That time keeps you connected to the camera and keeps you warm creatively. Your mind shifts out of work mode, out of daily life mode, into a different way of seeing. Be present. Look at what's around you. Notice the familiar through your camera. Pay attention to what draws your eye. Practice. Doing this regularly rewires how you see and how you feel. I've said this many times already, but when I don't photograph for a while, I genuinely feel like I'm not myself. One tool that helped me with this is something called an artist date, and it comes from the book The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, in which I found a lot of interesting exercises and tools that keep you connected with your inner artist. This idea of the artist date really stuck with me, and I will read her exact words. Artist date is a block on time, 2 hours weekly, especially set aside and committed to nurturing your creative consciousness, your inner artist. The artist date is an excursion, a play date that you pre-plan and defend against all interlopers. You do not take anyone on this artist date. And later on she says, if you think this is stupid or that you will never be able to find the time, identify this reaction as resistance. Prioritize it and make it a boundary. Photography has to be something you demand from yourself, a real priority, a boundary. And that boundary should be respected by the people in your life who need your time, but first and foremost, by you. Apply to open calls regularly. Look for online or printed zines, books or exhibitions that align with your work and apply to them consistently. Having a realistic goal and a deadline gives you direction. It makes it easier to stay disciplined and it keeps you motivated to go out and shoot. Work around the project and think about what you want it to become. Even a loose plan gives you clarity, how often you need to shoot, where you need to go, and what you're working toward. Projects give you a sense of completion. They help you grow, not just technically, but conceptually, by staying connected to the medium, your thoughts, your beliefs, and what you're choosing to photograph. That's how you make time for photography when you have a full-time job. You plan for it, you protect it, and you show up. It's surprisingly easy to lose discipline around the very things that bring us joy, balance, and a sense of self, especially when their value isn't obvious to others and eventually even to us. I know we do see the value, but it can feel hard or even selfish to hold on to it when society or people around us demand different priorities. This becomes even more complicated in a modern world where something is often considered important only if it makes money, where time is equated with productivity and productivity with worth. When the act of doing photography doesn't fit neatly into that framework, it's easy for it to be dismissed by others, and sometimes even by ourselves. Still, I don't agree with calling it selfish when it comes to taking care of yourself. Your mental health, your passions, your dreams, and the way you enjoy life are deeply personal, and they shouldn't be framed as selfish at all. At the same time, we sometimes use external pressure as an excuse for our own laziness or lack of discipline. It took me a while to realize just how essential it is to protect these things that we love as part of a routine and make them a real priority. It sounds dramatic, but metaphorically speaking, it's a matter of life and death, death of the soul, of mental health, of clarity. The quality of our lives is shaped by our routines and by what we genuinely love doing. If we're not on good terms with ourselves, we can't show up as our best selves for family, friendships, relationships, work, or even for life itself. Something will always be missing, and that missing piece is most probably prioritizing time for photography.